Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time seeing one of my videos, my name is Mary and I am a homeschooling mama to a pre-K and a first grader, and this is our first year homeschooling. So I'm excited to announce that this video is our third and final video in our Curriculum Picks series for the school year 2024 to 2025. If you missed my previous videos, I'll link them here up above for you. The first video in this series was my kindergartners' individual curriculum subjects, so language arts and math. And then the second video was my rising second graders individual subject picks, curriculum and math as well. This video is going to be about our group subject curriculum picks. Now, my girls are 2 years and 4 weeks apart, so they are very close in age, which makes it easier for us when we talk about doing group subjects. So anything outside of language arts and math we do together. And I'm able to build it up a little bit, more for my rising second grader and just keep it lower for my rising kindergartner. So if that's interesting to you, let's hop into it. So the first curriculum I'm going to go into is the one where we're getting the bulk of our learning from next year. And it's where we're getting most of our subjects except for a few here and there, Spanish and history. So we decided to go with Build Your Library Level 0. Now, I'm going to have a kindergartner next year and a second grader, and this is level 0. It's supposed to be for kindergarten. However, Emily Cook, the author of this curriculum, she puts age ranges on her levels. So she doesn't just say it's for grade, first grade. She says it's for age 4 to 6. My youngest will be 5. My oldest will be brand new 7-year-old. I looked through this and I really feel like there's not going to be a lot of tweaking I need to do even for my 7-year-old. There's some really good literature in here. I think this is pretty advanced. And if it isn't, I can always beef it up for her and it won't be that hard. I think it's easier when you're looking at curriculums and trying to do them across 2 different kiddos. I think it's easier to build up and beef up a curriculum to make it more academically rigorous than it is to tame it for a younger child. So hence why we're going with Build Your Library Level 0. And it's an around the world study. Another reason we went with this for next year is that after next year, we will be beginning our 4-year history cycle. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you've been on our channel at any time before this, you'll know we are big fans of the classical education teaching method. And what they do is they cycle through history every 4 years. So it starts with ancients, then you go into medieval times, then early modern, and then you start it all over again. So I love that, by the way. I'm a big history buff, so I think that's a great way to teach. But I think it's important to do geography before you hop into any kind of history teaching, because if you're teaching your kids about a subject that happened in, or a topic that happened in Greece or ancient China, if they don't know what China or Greece is, or they don't know anything about their cultures there, it's going to be hard for them to connect the dots and really understand it. So I think it's good to do a brief overview of geography before we hop into all of our history studying. So that's why we're going to go with an around the world study next year, which I am super pumped about, y'all. So within Build Your Library, there are multiple different subjects that we will be studying. The first one I want to talk about is, of course, the geography component. And just so you know, with these curriculums, I also have quite a few of the books purchased. By the way, I'm like doing this, and it's because I have curriculum all around me on the floor. You can't see it, but it's down below. So I have almost all of the books purchased that I needed to purchase. There's pretty hefty book lists with some of the curriculum that I picked for next year, and a lot of them I'm able to get from the library, thankfully, but some that I wasn't, I was able to thrift shop, and I'm a good thrift shopper, y'all. We have a lot of local thrift shops around here and a lot of homeschool families, so we are very blessed with the fact that a lot of the books that we need end up showing up in these thrift stores. But if I can't find them at our local thrift store, I then go to a website called bookfinder.com, and that will tell you the cheapest price you can get for a book that you're looking for. You can look by the ISBN number, title, or even the author. There's so many different ways that you can keyword search for the books you're looking for, and then it shows you, it scours the internet, looks at different websites and tells you, eBay is selling this at the cheapest at very good condition at $19 or whatever you're looking for, right? So oftentimes I end up getting a lot of my books from, I've gotten them used from Amazon, Thrift Books, Book Outlet, trying to think. Did I say eBay? eBay, if I haven't, by the way, that's been a big gold mine for me. eBay, that's the place to go. So I digress. So what I was going to say is that I'm going to also share with you a lot of the spines and books that I did purchase for these programs. And some of them I do have at my library. I just looked at them and researched them, and I realized these are books that would be a good investment to have long-term in our home. So I went ahead and purchased them, even though I could get them from the library, just so we could always have them on hand for future years. Okay, so like I said, first subject I'm going to go into for Build Your Library is I'm going to talk about their geography component and the books that come along with that. So this curriculum is a 30-week curriculum, and it goes through different countries every week. And all the subjects that she includes in here tie into that country that you are studying that week. So here are some of the geography spines that she recommends you use to teach the program. So first up is the Smithsonian Children's Atlas. This is a beautiful atlas. We actually already own this because we were using it for our current program that we're doing. It is a great atlas. I know it says it's for children, but even I'm learning a lot from reading it. So this is a great atlas. If you're looking for one for kiddos, grab this one. Next, we will be reading The Great Kapok Tree. This is about the Amazon rainforest. I actually found this for 50 cents at one of my local thrift stores. I just wanted to brag a little bit. All right, next up we have Me on the Map. You'll be using this in the first week or two because before you even get into countries, that first week she talks about maps and how to read them, compass rose, the key on the map to figure out how to read a map, all that. So this is really helpful with that. Next up, we'll be reading Africa is Not a Country. And actually, this is such a simple title, but it's so true. I think a lot of people don't realize that Africa is a continent with multiple countries in it. I think 28 to be exact, but I don't think a lot of people think about that. They're like, oh, Africa is a country, but it's actually a continent. And last but not least, DK's Children Just Like Me. The kids actually keep coming into my office where I keep our curriculum for next year, and they keep taking this down off my bookshelf and looking at it. They are so intrigued by this book because this book follows children from different countries, and it tells you about them, what kind of food they eat, where they go to school, you know, about the sports they play. And I just think this is a great book because it relates to your child, because it's talking to your child about other children in other countries, so they can be like, oh, that's what they do in India. Oh, that's what they do in Thailand. You know, I think this is a really good book, and my kids are already intrigued by it. So next, we will be doing the literature component from Build Your Library Level 0 as well. I'm doing different curriculum with both my girls for their language arts, so phonics, writing, spelling, reading, things like that. But for literature, we are utilizing Build Your Library's book list. She also includes a lot of great discussion questions in the curriculum to get the kids thinking about what they just read. And one of the subcategories, I would say, under literature is something she calls tales. And when she says that, she's talking about this book. It's called A World Full of Animal Stories. And it's folk tales and legends from across the world, from different countries. So it's geographically focused. So like, here's a story from Mexico and North America. Here's one from Bolivia. I know some kids aren't into folk tales and they don't really understand folklore. If they're not into it, this is something you can easily cut out, but my girls do happen to enjoy folk tales and folklore, so we will absolutely be utilizing this. The other thing I love about this is that Build Your Library Level 0 has a science component to it, but it's pretty light in my opinion. It's essentially an animal study, and you study different animals from each of the geographic locations that you're looking at and different ecosystems. So this kind of ties the literature to the animal portion too. And my kids love animals, so we couldn't cut this out, even if I wanted to. All right, next up, I'm gonna run through the literature books that I purchased from the book list. First up, we have Snow in Jerusalem, The Children of Noisy Village, Katie in London. This looks so stinking cute, by the way, y'all. Nelson Mandela's Favorite African Folktales. This looks really cool too. And last but not least, Tales Our Abuelitas Told. We actually already had this as well for our current curriculum we were reading. So we didn't read all the short stories in here, but we read a few. But even still, my girls love this book, so they will have no problem cycling back through. They really enjoyed this, so we'll be excited to revisit this for next year. So next subject that we are going to be studying from Build Your Library is their science component, aka that animal study I was talking about. So the spine for this portion of the curriculum is Nat Geo Kids Wild Animal Atlas. This book is a gem, y'all. It's got beautiful colored photos in it, lots of good information, infographics. My girls are really into animals, so they're really gonna like this portion of the curriculum. So again, like I said, this isn't what I would consider a really beefy science. So if you guys are really sciencey family, this probably won't be enough for you, but we're including it because it's not that much and they love animals, and I think it'd be fun to learn about different animals across the world. Some other books that she has included in the science portion of Build Your Library are On the Same Day in March, A Tour of the World's Weather. So she goes into weather because we're talking about different ecosystems. So you can see you run through on the same day on the planet at any given time. It's trying to explain to kids that the weather or climate is different at any given point. We will also be reading A Drop Around the World, where we can learn more about the water cycle. And again, talking about different ecosystems, we will be reading Ice. Why are the ice caps melting? So it'll be touching upon just climate change, essentially. So we'll be hitting that with this book. So I just happen to have some additional books that I wanted to throw into the curriculum to beef up the animal component, and we'll be using for research purposes. So we're going to be including DK Smithsonian Animal, ! We will be doing animals profiles and studies where the girls will be writing about the animals. They'll pick an animal for each location. So these will be what I consider more reference books and research. And then an anthology of intriguing animals. This series of books from DK is so pretty. If you've never seen them before, we also own the space one. It's just, the drawings are beautiful and there's such great information in them. Okay, so we will also be studying art with Build Your Library. And one thing I want to mention about Build Your Library Level 0, the Around the World study, is that I love how she ties all of the subjects, even the science, the animal study. She ties all of it into the country that you are studying that day. So you're hitting it not just from literature, not just from learning about the location via the maps, but you're also going to be doing art from that location, cooking from that location. You're going to be learning about the animals and science from that location. So she ties in everything beautifully. So I think by hitting it from multiple different angles, the girls really, even at a young age, they'll be barely 5 and 7 when we start this, they will be able to connect the dots really well and learn about the culture, learn about the different locations, and just understand more about these different regions. So I briefly touched upon it, but we will be doing art. So something I wanted to mention, so this is called Around the World Art and Activities. So this is actually the old recommended art spine for Build Your Library. The current version out has a different art book being recommended, and it's because this one is no longer in print. However, I will tell you guys, I had no issue sourcing this, and it was super cheap, one. I thrifted it, and 2, it's in very good condition. The thing looks brand new. I don't think anybody actually used this. So I decided not to go with the current recommended art spine after watching or listening to Homeschool Together podcast on this subject. They got both the new art book and this old one, and they mentioned that this one was definitely more age appropriate and the materials were way easy to source for the parent. The new recommended art book, the materials are a little bit more obscure and kind of harder to find. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going for easy. My kids are not, they love art, but they like simple art. If they have to use odd materials, they're like, I just want to color, y'all. So I felt like this was going to be more speed and connect better with the girls. So I decided to go with this. I will say I had to go through the entire book and then write into the program where we would do which activity, but that took me maybe 30 minutes one day. And again, I mentioned we're going to be doing a cooking class. My girls love to cook in the kitchen with me. They love baking, so I know this is going to be a huge hit for them next year. So we're going to be using Cooking Class Global Feast. This book, y'all, is amazing. It is such a cool cookbook. So all of these meals are from different locations on Earth. I'm actually most excited about making Donics. It's gonna be basically like donuts. But, I mean, there's so many good, yummy recipes in here. And again, my girls love to cook, they love to bake, so I think this will be, again, another just good additional avenue to connect with the country we're learning about that week. That is it for Build Your Library, except for one thing that I will talk about at the end of this book. I'm going to move into what we're actually doing for science. So like I said, we're going to do the animal study, the science from Build Your Library, but we like science. So we're going to actually have a separate subject we're going to call science, and we decided to go with Blossom and Roots Level 0, My Great Space Adventure. My girls love space, and I think this is such a wonderful time to introduce them to space too when they're younger, and it's just the awe and the wonder of it. So this is a great study because, I'm gonna keep it up here for you guys so you can look at the sequence and scope while I talk, because what happens is you go on a huge adventure across the solar system. At the beginning of the year, you get a message from a planet called Zula. This is obviously a made-up planet, but you get a message from a kid on that planet saying that they've been tasked with learning about Earth and kids on Earth, and can you help that person or that alien learn about you, and vice versa, you'll learn about Zula and the rest of space. So we're going to build a spaceship, we're going to learn about anatomy and what we would need in order to go into space, we're going to learn about all the planets and the galaxies, and eventually we're going to make it to Zula. So I just think it is so imaginative and it is so interactive, and I just think there is no better way at this age to learn about space. So I've already gotten all of the spines that she recommended for this program. Okay, so we are huge DK fans here, obviously. So she recommends getting Space exclamation point, and these exclamation point series are just great photos, so much information. I mean, I love these books. So this will be a good reference book, even for later on years, elementary into middle school. Even I'm 36 years old and I like looking at these books, so good investment. We also are going to be using The Mysteries of the Universe from DK. Again, this is one of those books that are just absolutely, I mean, they're gorgeous, y'all. Look at the inside. They're so pretty. My girls love looking at these books too and pulling them off of our bookcase. So we'll be using that to learn about space. We're going to use the DK Find Out series, Solar System. And then this one, my kids love cats. I'm actually... Fun side fact, I'm allergic to cats, so we will never have cats. I have 3 dogs, but I can't have cats. My girls, because of that fact, I think are desperate to have a cat. So the reason I bring that up is because we're going to be using Professor Astro Cat's Frontier of Space. So my girls, when this came in the mail, were not only super excited because it was about space, but because there were cats. This is a really fun interactive book for younger elementary students who are trying to learn about space. Lots of cool drawings and infographics. So I think we are going to have a blast next year with space. So second to last subject I want to talk about for next year is our foreign language. So right now we are learning Spanish through a program from SpanishMama.com. I got it off Teacher Pays Teachers. And it is a early elementary school, preschool type program. It's very like hands-on and just fun. We're going to get a little bit more serious with our Spanish program for next year. However, we still have some more of this left to finish up, and I think it might take us, our current program might take us into the beginning of next year. So I haven't gone ahead and bought our Spanish program yet, so I'm going to put up a picture of it. We've decided to go with Homeschool Languages Spanish 1. I did a ton of research, and based on our background and knowledge and understanding of Spanish at present and my kiddos' current understanding, I felt like this would be a good one for us to delve into. They currently have 2 levels out right now, so if we like it, we can at least go another year, but they have said they are going, I think, up to level 4. So theoretically, this could get us through elementary school, and then when we get to middle school, we'll just find another program that works for us. Okay, last but certainly not least, my favorite subject, history. So next year we are going to do a gentle introduction to U.S. history through American Girl History by Little School of Smiths. By the way, she has some great curriculum. We're doing a few unit studies from her outside of history. Go check her out. They're very hands-on, visual, great literature included, but just go check her out. So this program is technically 8 individual unit studies on each girl. So there's 8 girls, and they're 4 weeks long each, making it, if you combine them all together, 32 weeks long program learning about US history. So we will be starting with Kaya, going to Felicity, learning about Josephina, Kirsten, Addie, Samantha, Kit, and Molly. So we'll be learning US history from 1764 to 1944. I think this is a really great way to gently introduce our American history to the girls. They relate to these American girls already. It'll be a great introduction to different ethnicities and backgrounds and cultures. Our background, our history is not necessarily a savory one, right? But it doesn't mean that we can't do it in an age-appropriate way where they just kind of get a glimpse and an understanding of it. We'll introduce US history in another 4 years, so we'll dig in a little deeper. We'll go into more detail, but I think this is going to be a really fun way to do it. There's a lot of activities in here, a lot of reading, good literature. We got a lot of the American Girl doll books in order to do this program. Check out Thrift Books. They have all of them, by the way, if you decide to do this, but we are all very excited about this one. And officially last but not least, Build Your Library Level 0. It's the only level that is like this, but it is 30 weeks long. All the rest of her levels, all the way up to 12th grade, are 36-week long curriculums. This one, she only does 30 weeks to make it a little bit more gentle. It's meant for younger kiddos, but since we traditionally do 36 weeks a year, I was like, that leaves me 6 weeks where I could do some other things with our curriculum because we'll have the empty time to do it. So I decided to pick up Build Your Library's 6-week unit, Pre-History Study, because again, the following year, we're gonna be learning about ancient history. So I thought, why not hit prehistory the last 6 weeks of this year, then we'll have a quick summer break and then hop into ancients. So this is gonna take us from the beginning of time into dinosaurs and then into early man. I think this is gonna be such a fun unit study. And again, only 6 weeks. And I did get one of the spines already. I'm not too concerned about getting all the spines for this yet because we've got quite a while, over a year, to get them. However, I did see the main spine on major sale, and this will also be the main spine for a lot of our history through elementary school. So I snagged Usborne Encyclopedia to World History with the internet links. I got this for $9 and it's in very good condition. It looks brand new. This book is so cool. I get why everybody raves about it. It's got such good stuff in it and great visuals. Oh, the girls are gonna love this. So yes, I got it for $9. I'm seeing it go anywhere from $20 to $40 in other places, so I could not pass that up. So I got it a little early, but the girls, again, keep pulling it down from my bookcase and looking through it, so I know they're gonna enjoy it when we use it for this history unit. All right, y'all, that is it for our group subject curriculum picks for 2024 to 2025. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was super helpful. I will be doing individual videos on this curriculum as we use it later on. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. Or if you're like, hey, can you do a flip through of this? I know you can't give a review yet, but like, could you like do a video on it to show what the program's like? I'd be more than happy to. I do a lot of research before I buy curriculum, so even though I haven't done them, I feel like I know the curriculum well enough right now. But again, thank you for stopping by. Give me a thumbs up if you can, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.